but just play fast, run the floor, set pick, hard picks, and attack the glass, and that's my role.
Ivica, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
All right, Brian, back to you guys.
That was the quick take brought to you by Kia. Ivica Zubac, 6.6 rebounds in that first half. Clippers look very, very sharp. Ivica Zubac looking real good. Fox Sports presents Clippers basketball, brought to you by your Southern California Cadillac dealers. By Agua Caliente Casino Resorts, only 2 hours away, yet worlds away. And by the Kia Telluride. Kia, the official vehicle of the LA Clippers. Clippers up 63-34 at the break. Time now for the helpful adjustments brought to you by CarMax. Let's send it over to Jamie Maggio.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. Here with Rex Kalimi. And Rex, compared to game one, what did you like about the team in the first half of game two here?
Well, we had a great practice yesterday. We cleaned up a lot of things offensively and defensively, but I like the fact that we've got 25 threes up. It shows a lot of ball movement. We have assists. Defensively, we're getting into the basketball, causing turnovers. And the thing that's most impressive is that Pat Beverly's taken 2 charges in a preseason game so far.
He always plays with heart.
He sure does. He's kind of our instigator. We like when he does that.
Anything you're looking for in the second half?
Pardon me?
Anything you're looking for in the second half?
Well, just more pressure defensively, and then again, offensively, we want to run a little bit more. As many fast break points as we could get, early threes, early transition points, it's all good for us.
Rex, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Brian.
Jamie, thanks. We talked about Pat Beverly right there. How about Mo Harkless? What a first half he had off the bench.
Mo was very effective. Obviously 7 for 7. Jerome Robinson did a good job of finding him, but just being ready to receive passes. He was good inside. He was good outside. And also, what you can see here, he had 2 nice blocks, shot blocks.
And Clippers come out ready to play here for just a couple more hours in paradise. Pat Beverly is on the bench in this second half.
As he should be.
That might be an NBA record. Rex Kalimi brought up 2 charges in a half in a preseason game.
Hey, that dude, man. One-way motor.
The one thing that's interesting about Pat Beverly is I think his career arc has changed as Magruder snaps up a 3 and a missed shot inside by Zubac. His career arc went from who is this guy to you only like him when he's on your team. Now I really do believe he's widely respected throughout the league and people enjoy what he does on the floor.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's not a lot of people that can do what he does.
Shamit to Magruder, a little hesitation and then lays it in.
There you go right there, defense to offense. Create a turnover. You heard Coach Rex over there saying we want more ball pressure. And that's exactly what they've gotten thus far.
You heard Rex talk about a good practice. How far can that take you? One practice in terms of cleaning things up as Nunley knocks down the 3.
Well, it takes you, practice is all about, getting things that you want, as far as plays, as far as those things. But at the end of the day, it creates confidence. It's a nice shot right there by Jermichael Green, but it creates confidence. You start working on different coverages and things like that. You see it working against your teammates, but you want to see it in real action. Nice ball pressure right there by T-Man.
Green, by the way, 3 3-pointers in this first half. Clippers force another turnover, 21 giveaways for the Sharks.
Rodney Magruder, as we said, he's a professional. You talk about defense to offense. Nice play right there. Rodney Magruder, knowing that was a taller defender, uses the opposite side of the rim for the finish.
That was the drive to the hoop brought to you by Hyundai. Talked to Jermichael Green a couple of days ago before the Rockets game. He's trying to play his way back into shape, not because he took the summer off for fun and games. He had a little bit of a knee issue that he had to take care of, and just starting to get back into form. I mentioned it earlier. Now 3 for 7. He has 11 points, leads all in that starting 5.
Zubac is having a little problem with foul trouble here. That's something he's going to have to control and temper, as this season starts. He's the biggest guy on the roster. He's the biggest guy on the roster, and he's fouled out of this ball game. I mean, that's That's not a good look there.
In 11 minutes of action, Jerome Robinson had some foul problems earlier in the game against the Rockets. Moda Yunus. Magruder looks to push. We throw it over to Jamie Maggio for more on Ivica Zubac.
Yeah, Brian, kind of a funny story. At the end of the half, I was getting ready to interview Ivica, and he's standing there, and Montrezl Harrell says to me, "Why are you going to interview this guy? All he's doing is fouling in the first half." And I said, "Well, what do you want to do the interview, Trez?" And I looked over, Kawhi was sitting right next to Trez, and guys, Kawhi smiled.
Okay, we have breaking news right here. Let's write this down. You know, it is funny. He wears that shirt, fun guy. We've talked with Doc. I've talked to a couple of players. Kawhi truly is a pretty funny guy.
It's
it's
really
a dry
is.
humor.
He's not as quiet as most people seem. Maybe it's because I know him a little bit, but he does have some good humor. He's funny. How about the defensive play right there by Terrence Mann? Nice shot. There he is. The ball went through the basket.
Look at the look on his face. A sarcastic smile as he and Montrezl Harrell exchange high fives at half court. Great steal, leather larceny for Magruder. Lobs it up high. Oh, my!
What a left-hand pass right there by Rodney Magruder. Rewarding JaMychal Green for being there with him.
Inside and outside for JaMychal Green. 13 points for him.
What a play right here. Drags the defender in. Contest comes and a nice lob over the top right there. That's synergy right there.
Like I said, he's very soft-spoken talking about JaMychal Green. And he's got a very nice demeanor about him, but he's as tough as they get. Curling, catching, cannot connect.
Very nice execution right there.
Nice touch by Moda Yunus inside. Clippers up comfortably. You know, it's not unheard of for an international team like Shanghai to pick off an NBA team. It's actually happened a couple of times, more than a couple of times, but recently, if you go back to 2016, Oklahoma City lost a game. 2014, the San Antonio Spurs lost a game. So it can happen to the best of them. It's likely not going to happen.
Well, what you got to understand, Brian, is this is a dream come true for these players to be playing against NBA players, okay? And it doesn't matter which NBA team it is. They all have a desire at some point in their career to play in the NBA. So being able to play a game like this is not a preseason game for these guys. They are really, really competing as hard as they can because they want to try to get a win.
Perhaps for Nunley and Moda Yunus, maybe you'll look from an NBA team. Although the contracts in China are pretty rigid to finish out the season. Hey, Paul George has joined the squad on the bench.
I guarantee you he's been back there getting around-the-clock treatment, trying to get back on the floor. He worked out really hard before the game.
You would never know, watching him in the drills that we have watched him in, that he was injured or kind of behind in any kind of way.
Yeah. Well, he looks really good. I mean, he looks in shape. He looks good. But again, as we spoke about, when you're playing one against nobody in a workout, of course you're going to look good. But you got to add contact, you know, the physical element of that and those shoulders. You got to be very careful at a time like this when, quite frankly, these games don't mean anything.
He tried to sneak into practice on Monday, and per doctor's orders, dunks are not allowed right now with the shoulder injuries. He was throwing dunks down. He was knocking down shots. Doc said, we'll live with him sneaking into the drills, but he cannot dunk. So they've been very, very careful, almost spying on him to make sure that he is where he is supposed to be.
That's what I told people throughout my career. I had a doctor's order. I couldn't dunk, too. You believe it was a doctor's order?
That's a good one. I stopped dunking because it always hurt my hand. That's why I chose not to do it.
It hurt your hand, but you just pointed at your forearm.
That's where it was. That's where I was throwing down. I don't know how you.
You was hanging in the, you was throwing your whole arm in the rim like Vince, huh?
Yeah, there was some of it.
bet that's a story you told those two little boys I met.
and you know they believed it. They
should believe it. That's Daddy. That's
Dad
right.
could throw down.
They should believe all of that.
I, true story, have dunked a ball once in my life. Look at this. You get table service here.
How about that? You know what? You sure it's Kawhi that has an island in the restaurant over here, or is it me?
I don't get anything.
How about that? That's my guy. Give me some, man. That's my man right there.
I'll take a Mai Tai with about 3 minutes to play in the third. I'll put it in order before we get a buzzer here.
Yeah, that's my dude.
You know, there are breaks in the game like halftime where you can get refreshments, Chauncey.
Well, I mean, you know, or you can get it in the middle of the third quarter.
That's what happens when you're a finals MVP. When you're a dad that lies to your kids about throwing down.
Well, I mean,
maybe not. Sharks basketball here. Now Nunley will lob it into Moda Yunus. Let's look to push. See the score, 75-41. This has been obviously around. Terrence Mann fouled, going up. Over the line. Dong Han Lin, the guilty party. So you could give one bit of advice for Terrence Mann at this stage of his development becoming a point guard.
Yes.
One thing. What's the most important at this age?
I will tell you the biggest advantage that he has right now is his head coach and his head coach's top two assistants, and T. Lue and Sam Cassell were NBA point guards. Spend as much time as you can with those guys, period. Spend as much time as you can with those guys. Ask as many questions, as anything that comes to your thought process. If they haven't done it, they've seen it. So spend time with those guys. You know, take advantage of having them at your disposal every single day. And he's going to be just fine.
Montrez takes his seat likely for the final time this afternoon. 12 points, 3 rebounds, couple of assists in 17 minutes. And Terrence Mann, 7 points, 3 rebounds, couple of helpers as well.
I like the fact that Terrence Mann is picking up full court. That's what rookies are supposed to do, young players are supposed to do.
Moda Yunus a bit out of control, recovers inside enough to not get it.
He really likes that right-hand jump hook.
That's Jonathan Motley. He is a beast in the G League, trying to find his way. Lob up. Oh, look out below.
Nice play right there by Landry Shamet.
Moda Yunus. And Lin, nice pass inside. Shamet still playing with energy. Talked with him after the game on Thursday. He turns it over. But I chalk it up to a preseason game, and I throw it away, and I don't think about it again.
That's right. He told you exactly right. In this game, in the NBA and sports, you have to have a short memory. Sometimes you'll play well, and you need to forget about that because the next game is coming up tomorrow. And sometimes you play poorly, and you also need to forget about that. You got to have a short memory.
The mouse in the house there with Moda Yunus going up against Shamet.
Landry Shamet is able to left-hand alley-oop right there. That's really nice.
When those guys aren't in the game, other guys got to step up and do more. So when they come, it's like, I think it's even easier to kind of, you know, just for them to fit in. You know, we all know what they bring to the table. So I don't think anybody here is expecting to, you know, take, you know, do what they do out there, you know, and they're going to be our playmakers when they're in the game, and that's that.
Hey, listen, I think that was an awesome point right there by Mo Harkless. I mean, when those two guys aren't playing, there's pressure on these other guys to keep the team afloat. When they are playing, we don't have to do as much. You know, we just kind of we kind of chip in where they might need us at. But That's a wonderful, wonderful point. I mean, it becomes a lot easier for most all of these guys when the great players are out there.
And again, a lot of people are assuming, and that's all it is at this point, knock on wood, everybody is healthy, that everybody's assuming that there's going to be load management and extended load management. I have not heard that at all from the players. They, I think, are anticipating playing a healthy amount of games.
Well, you look at one advantage of having your head coach being played a long time in the NBA is he understands what these back-to-backs mean on the body and these road trips and getting in at all times of night, waking up in the morning practicing. He will keep these guys fresh. That's the advantage. That was just a rookie mistake right there by the young fella jumping in the air passing.
Cardinal sin of basketball.
Man, I had the biggest problem with that when I was a rookie. I mean, it was really bad.
Eunice fading a little bit. Hanlon with a rebound, but a loose ball foul. The interesting part about this, let's just pretend for a second, and that's all this would be, that there is, you know, a lot of games that Kawhi and or Paul George take a seat. You go back 2 years ago, it's similar nucleus. Pat Beverly, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams. These guys were in all of these games with that second unit, that bench. They are used to having to kind of figure out a way to get it done.
Yes.
That mindset that culture that they have developed isn't going to go away. So just because those guys sit out, there is under no circumstances a thought, well, they're just not going to win here tonight.
Sure. And one of the things that's just as important, Brian, is we're going to hang our hat on the defensive end of the floor. Meaning, every single night we're going to have a shot. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. We will have a shot if we can continue to lock down on defense. If Paul's playing, okay. If Kawhi's playing, okay. If they're not playing, okay. That's fine. Let's still lock down and give ourselves a chance.
Nice defense by Motley. Tough rebound by Mann. Couldn't hold on to it. Eunice benefits. Bad bounce for Mann. Good effort. Shamet to Magruder. And lays it in. People have overlooked this young man's ability.
I'm telling you, I love him. I really do. I love everything he's about. Everything he's about.
Turnover number 25 for the Sharks. Michael Green will take a seat likely for the night. 20 minutes played, 13 points, 3 3-pointers. You see Jermichael.
Very nice night at the office for Jermichael.
Beyondu Capangeli controls. Rookie out of Florida State. Teammates with Terrence Mann. Gets almost rewarded early. Nice feed from Magruder.
And you look at the first thing Rodney Magruder does right there. He should have lobbed that instead of threw the hard pass. He looked at the young fella and said, that's my bad. I'll throw it up top next time. That's my bad. That's just getting to know one another.
Nunley, a much more efficient line tonight. 5 for 9, 29 points. Remember, he was 4 for 26 against Houston on Monday. Oh, what a play by Motley. And almost it had eyes. And Jonathan Motley showing off that athleticism.
Very nice play right there by Jonathan Motley. Very heads up.
Elevate your driving experience with the diverse lineup.
Poking that ball, looking and seeing who's trailing. Very nice play. Heads up.
Motley spent a lot of time in the G League. Again, I mentioned it earlier, trying to figure out his role here with the Clippers. Now a quick word from Buick.
Elevate your driving experience with the diverse lineup of Buick's SUVs.
I mentioned back on Thursday, he said it's a 180 when he comes from the G League where he's required to score 25 or more. And now he comes here and now he's just helping those guys score 25 or more.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, but he's done a good job of it.
Hanlon hands off to Nunley. This is inside. nice thought there by Motley.
That was a nice throw right there, and great positioning right there by Fee. Being in the right spot to be able to even receive a pass like that.
Capangeli will go to the free throw line. There's Motley trying to. All of that skill and athleticism, it belongs in the NBA. Just where and how. And the G League coaches, talked with a couple of them here this week. They cannot stop raving about him. I asked them who stood out to them during this week, and he was on that short list.
Well, he's just so skilled. You know, he can do a lot of things. He blocks shots. You look at him, he's smart. He's a smart young player. He's in the dunker spot right there. He can actually pick and pop. He can knock a three-point shot down, too. Obviously, he comes from great stock right there, as you see, with being a nephew of Big Deke. Big Deke.
Capangeli had a great summer league, 17 and 8. So it's 1994. Where were you? Game 5 with the Nuggets win in Seattle. I remember watching that game. That was the first time an 8 ever beat a 1.
That's funny you said that. It was 1994. I was a junior in high school. I was playing USA basketball. I was trying out for the USA basketball team. Practice had just ended and the game was on the big screen. So I was actually in Colorado Springs watching Dikembe on the floor hold that ball up while he was smiling, crying. I don't know what all he was doing.
Yelling.
But I just love that team with Mahmoud, one of my favorite players of all time. He is Robert Pack, who I ended up playing with in the NBA. He was a great mentor of mine as well.
Former assistant with the Clippers.
Brian Stith. I mean, I just loved that team.
I thought Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson, maybe ahead of his time.
Yes.
He would thrive in this day and age. Oh, how about the rookie connection? Man to Capangeli, and they punctuate it with a stuffed Clippers up big.
I'm sure the ACC has seen that combo do that before a few times.
Happy they're gone, I bet.
But I agree with you. I think Mahmoud was before his time. You know, he was, I say that he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, but look at these two young fellas right here. The synergy that they have with one another. Great play by Terrence Mann, and a wonderful finish by Fee.
And that sends us to break. Capangeli throws down. Clippers by 34. There's some change left here in the third quarter. Game summary brought to you by Kia.
My biggest takeaway at this point is just the ball movement. Look at that dime right there by T-Man, but they've really moved the basketball. Being able to knock down a lot of open shots, look at lobs at the basket. I mean, they've really moved that basketball. They turned down a lot of good shots to make great shots today, Brian.
28 assists. We still have 2+ minutes to play in the third quarter. How about this? Only 13 turnovers. While that number is high and maybe in the third quarter of the regular game, considering they had 22 of them back on Thursday.
Yeah. They've moved the ball just beautifully today.
Derek Walton Jr. out there, joined by Amir Coffey, Capangeli, Jerome Robinson, and Jonathan Motley. Broadcasters jinx in place. The Black Cat strikes again. Turnover on the Clippers.
Yeah, I tell you. So what are you, 1 for 1 today?
I've got a, well, I dodged a bullet, and then I ran into a bullet, I guess. Go to Eunice, showing some range.
Uh-oh, there's another turnover.
Some pressure here by the Sharks, and Nunley now. Quick 5-0 run. Longest spurt, by the way, for the Sharks here today. Now whistle, but travel and another turnover. So the energy has, I feel like you're blaming me on this. The energy has picked up for the Sharks.
Oh, man.
Looks like they had some coffee delivered to that huddle of theirs during the break.
You're right about that.
Moda Eunice feeling good. The Clippers have to match the energy here. It's very obvious that the Sharks are playing a high sense of urgency. Nunley misses everything. He's played well here today. 6 of 11, 22 points.
Yeah, he has. I was surprised to see him miss everything. He probably just didn't get his feet set.
Nice feed. Good strip by the Sharks off of the Clippers. So that's 3 consecutive turnovers after I touted.
See, I wasn't even going to say nothing, man. I'll let you go ahead and, you know.
I could feel you thinking
I
about
was
saying
just going to
something.
leave it alone, man. Oh, what a pass.
Conley clears it away. Boy, that's forced. And for play-by-play for the rest of the game, here's Chauncey Billups.
I didn't say a word. But that's what happens sometimes, to be honest with you. When your big man sometimes gets a rebound, you feel happy about that. You got guards up there to do their job. You push it full court, sometimes that big man's going to kick it out of bounds. Stick to what's gotten you up 30 points. Don't get away from that.
Actually 5 turnovers in literally 1 minute.
There we go. We got one back, baby.
Robinson. Coffee. See if the youngsters can figure out the 2-for-1 situation here. Great ball movement. What a move by Motley, soaring down the air.
Great move and a great 2-for-1, actually.
Strong drive by Moda Yunus. Good defense by Capangeli.